This video is brought to you by Boss Rutan's O2 Trainer. Fight me, a fearless expression. What are you willing to fight for? And PowerPerformanceProducts.com, where you can receive $10 off your purchase of Body Storm and Body Effects. Spencer Lazara, MMAinterviews.tv, alongside Justin Lawrence. Just got your phone back, just got out of the house there, 13 weeks. Who'd you call first?
My parents. You know, it was a tough journey. These 13 weeks. You really take it for granted. Those little small things in life. Me being young and all about the social networkings and all about the phone, and you take that away from 13 weeks. It's tough and it goes crazy.
Is it nice kind of at first, or how was it not having to deal with any of that? Is it kind of a refreshing or just boring?
Boring. 100%. You do anything on your phone nowadays. Absolutely. I mean, you drive. When you drive and you're stopped at a stoplight. You look over. What's the person doing? Most of the time, either smoking or playing on their iPhone. That's what we do. That's it. And it's boring if you don't have it.
What did everybody have to say? Obviously, you're a little disappointed you didn't get to the finals. You're not where you wanted to be. But I'm sure everybody was still proud at home. And what was your reception like?
Yeah, they were real proud. I came in here, no one knew me, under the radar. And my first interview that I've ever done for the UFC when I first got here March 1st, I told them I was going to shock the world. So that when I leave here, people are going to know Justin Lawrence, I promise you. And, I fought WEC vet and did very well against him. And, I fought Cristiano Marcelo, which is a high-level jiu-jitsu black belt, a very high level. I did well. Like I said, I stumbled upon Chiesa, and he's a tough guy. He's no slouch, and you know what? If that was any man to lose to, it was Chiesa. The guy's had a tough story. I respect him a lot for staying in the competition, and I give him mad props. I really do.
Now, we talked about your experience, amateur fights. You've had a lot of experience, but do you still think the MMA experience is something that you still want to grow with, and that could be a reason why you didn't pull out that victory? Yeah,
it's just being on those big lights. Being on that stage, it's really tough, and the first 2 weeks, the first week I was here when I fought to get in the house wasn't too bad, and I fought the second week, I fought pretty early, it wasn't too bad, but after 8 more weeks of just a constant grind, you're physically and mentally just burnt out. It's tough. It really is. You do this competition 16 different times, you get 16 different winners. I promise you.
Mm-hmm. What was the toughest part about the 13 weeks and being gone from everybody?
For me, it's just, having one head coach, your father, coach you ever since you were 6 years old, been at every fight you've ever been, in your corner, not in the crowd, but in the corner. And, it's tough not to have him there. But you know what? He flies in tonight, and he's going to be here for the finale, and it's going to be a war.
Yeah. Talk about the matchup that you're facing out in the finale.
Yeah, John Kofor, the guy is he's no slouch. He's a good wrestler. He tough. He fought Vince Pichel, lost to Vince Pichel, and there was a war. It was a 3-round war. He wasn't backing down, and I expected nothing less. I expect guns blazing from him. I expect he knows it's a contract on the line. I know it's a contract on the line, and but let me tell you something. I've been doing this my entire life. I'm not getting on that plane back home without a contract. I deserve to be in the UFC. I've worked very hard, and I've showcased my skills, and people know I belong here.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about how you were under the radar, you felt like, but you were the #1 pick. There was hype, and you were the favorite to win the show.
And yeah, because I beat James Krause. I ran through him. You know what I'm saying? That's why. No one knew me. I was 3-0 coming in here.
I knew you. You're the only guy I think I did know.
You know me, actually, just because you interviewed me in my pro debut. Yes. No, but, being 3-0 and 21, there were, all the forums, they were talking about John Tuck, talking about, James Krause, talking about Dakota Cochran. None of those guys made it in. Where are those guys? Yep. You know what I mean? So, it wasn't their time yet, and it was ours. And once I kind of did my fight to get in the house and kind of opened people's eyes, like, wow, this kid's got some talent. And yeah.
Who do you think are some of the best guys in your division at lightweight in the world?
Well, I mean, of course, you got Frankie Yeager, you got Vincent Henderson. I mean, there's a lot of it's the thickest weight class in the UFC. I mean, it's got the most talent, you got the most best athletes, taking nothing away from any of the other divisions. 45, I say 45, I say the same about 85. In the UFC, you have guys that are fighters. People are not going to fall down for you. They're not going to fold up like the local circuit. Those guys are going to come out here and they know that this is their job. This is what they're show up here to do. You know, they don't. There's no half days around here. You know, and yeah, so it's a thick division.
Yeah. Well, who do you see winning fights like Silva and Sonnen coming up? Dan Henderson and John Jones. Give me some predictions for those two fights.
Well, Anderson Silva is my teammate with Blackhouse, so I'm going to go with, Anderson. I mean, he's the best fighter in the world. He hasn't lost in years. You know, he's the best pound-for-pound fighter of the last decade or whatever. You know, it's been a while. You know, he's. I actually trained with him for the first time before he fought Chael Sonnen. And I was there for about 4 weeks, so I kind of know the behind the scenes, you know, and, I wouldn't say he was 100% to get in that fight, you know what I'm saying? I think, the Anderson that's going to come out here, I think it's August?
It's July.
July, I'm sorry. July, I think it's going to be an Anderson that you've never seen, and it's going to be scary. And Rashad and Jones, Jones is an incredible athlete. Once in a lifetime athlete. You know, he's gifted. He knows it. His frame, his length, and his ability to make 205 at that length and stuff. It's crazy. It's a perfect fighter.
Yeah. We talked about that right now about the evolution of fighters and how you've been the new breed, sort of having done this for so long. So John Jones is sort of that too. Not only that, he hasn't been training that long, but also, on top of that, the athleticism of guys that are starting to come into the sport comes into play.
Well, just like with any sport, it just keeps evolving. 20 years ago in football, the guys were smaller. Each year it just gets bigger, faster, and that's the thing with the sport. It's the fastest growing sport, and now it hits FX. It's just gonna boom, and you need fighters to fill those cards, and it's just crazy. The fighters that we're seeing now, like the John Joneses, I remember 3 years ago, I'm like, wait, I can't wait to hit the scene because I'm gonna be that first guy. But those guys are already kind of introducing it, and it's definitely a young man's sport.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say? Anybody you want to thank, Justin?
Yeah, I just want to thank, Ed Soros, Team Blackhouse back in LA, and Team 21st Century American Martial Arts in Pacific, Missouri, my old man. I love you guys back home, and we'll see me go to war on Friday, June 1st.
June 1st, Justin Lawrence. Check him out on the TUF finale, live on FX. This video is brought to you by ProBoxingSupplies.com, where you can receive 25% off your purchase now.
Godspeed and party on.